Alrighty, what's up guys? Another day, another video here. If you couldn't tell by the title, some sneaker pickups over the last few weeks. Let's call it between July and August. There's 5 of them here. Can't get them all in frame, but there are 5 sneakers here. And the commonality that they all share is that they all come from social media. By social media, it's really sneaker Twitter, and then I have one sneaker that I picked up off of Instagram from here. Just for some additional context, I've been slowing down my sneaker buying. It's definitely not as bad as it used to be in the past. I'm still buying sneakers, but it's not nearly at the same sort of trajectory. But the one resource that I use very frequently is sneaker Twitter in particular. So I have my post notifications on for a few accounts, and they're usually the ones that drop restock links, release information, a little bit of everything. It's like I rely on sneaker Twitter more than I rely on sneaker outlets like Complex Sneakers or Sneaker News or anything like that. So while it is convenient to be in the know, it's also a very dangerous game when restock links or shock drops come up and you know your phone at the right place at the right time. You're able to copy these things very, very quickly. Essentially, it's a dangerous habit. I wouldn't recommend getting into sneaker Twitter. 1, because the notifications get a little overbearing, and 2, unless you like being in debt or spending a ton of money, I'd definitely stray away from it. But don't learn from me. I have all of these sneakers here that I'd love to show you guys. As much as I'm buying new stuff like this, I also need to sell stuff off in the collection. So be sure to check out my eBay page. I'll have that link down in the description, and also just be sure to follow me on social and all that good stuff. So without any further ado, let's get into these pickups here. These are in no particular order, but we're just gonna start off the top. So these are a purple Nike SB box. Take a look at the size tag there if it wants to focus. Nike SB Dunk Low Pro, size 9.5, my true size, and the colorway if it again wants to focus. Habanero Red, White, and Blue Hero. So if we open these up, these are dubbed as the Habanero Reds, and then also colloquially as the Bart Simpson SB Dunk Lows. So I was very surprised to hit on these just because the way that Nike drops SBs is very ambiguous. You know, Nike SBs are skateboarding sneakers, and 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10 rather, they're being sold through skate shops and never really through the mainstream like on the Nike or Nike Sneakers app. But here and there, they'll drop SB Dunks on the Sneakers app. And like this one, they'll drop them at shock drops. I know recently the Paisley Dunks, I think, were on a shock drop, and many, many others before that where I didn't see them at all. But in this case, gotta shout out Sneaker Twitter. Saw the notification, jumped on the app, and I entered, and I got the got 'em screen on the Sneakers app. So yeah, I'm very excited about these. I haven't hit on an SB Dunk for retail in a minute. That's a lie. I hit on the Be True SB Dunk Lows. I got those on a sneakers pass actually at Nike Flatiron. I work around there, so I was able to scoop those up. But otherwise, this is the latest and greatest. These are dubbed as the Bart Simpsons just because they're loosely based on his outfit and what he wears in the show The Simpsons. So it's not a direct one-to-one collaboration, right? These aren't licensed by The Simpsons. It's not like the Adidas ZX 10,000s I have, or I even have the pair of 1000s as well, the Flamin' Mo's. Those 2 sneakers and that collection with Adidas was a direct collaboration with The Simpsons, while these are just loosely inspired. And this isn't the first time Nike SB has done anything Simpsons related. If you recall from the past old releases, the Homer Dunks as well as the Marge Simpsons, those 2 are very desirable old school SB Dunks. These are sort of the new age take on that. The sneaker itself has done it pretty well. The suede is pretty standard, the red suede throughout. The leather is actually pretty nice, the yellow leather. I'm not sure if it's because of the finish, but generally for a skateboarding shoe with a retail price of $110, these are very well done. Extra laces are neon, which is kind of strange. I think it matches like the skateboard wheels on Bart's skateboard. I'd have to double check on that, but I'm probably gonna stick with these red laces just because this is already a loud sneaker as is. Perfect as we wind down for summer. These are definitely gonna get a lot of wear. I've actually tried them on around the house. I'm gonna wear them out to work at some point. But yeah, these are the first pair of sneakers. Next up here, we have a pair of New Balances in their gray GR lifestyle box, not like a specialized made in USA or England box. These are in a style code if it wants to focus. I'm filming in 23 frames per second to try it out. I don't think it's working as well as my usual setup, but whatever. These are an M2002 RDE, so model is 2002R, and then these I've already taken a good look at. These are the 2002Rs as part of the protection pack extension, and I think it's called burnt orange. I don't remember exactly what the orange is called, but these are them. I believe they're also called the Redefined Future or something like that. I'd have to, again, fact check myself. These days, I'm not doing as much research as I should be just because I don't have the time. But if there's a sneaker I like, I'm going for it, and this is certainly one of them. So, the protection pack, there's another name for the protection pack, but that original 3 that released in those 3 colorways took the world by storm, mainly that one rain cloud colorway, I think it was. And then this, along with a slew of many other colorways, have came on the scene recently in 2022, I think around like April or May. And now they're starting to touch down finally in the US. This one also came to me via a Twitter link, again through Sneaker Twitter. Definitely recommend following them. Not sure about post notifications because again, it could get very dangerous. But this is the first time I saw these released in the US, and of all places, I think it was like one of the foot sites. I believe it was either Foot Locker, Champs, or East Bay. Either way, sizes were selling out pretty fast. These had a hefty retail price of I think like $160, which isn't so bad, but for a non-made in USA sneaker, I always like am on the fence on if it's worth it. But having these in hand, the suede's pretty good. If you blindfolded me and told me that this was a made in USA sneaker, I'd probably believe you. And I've had many New Balances in my collection. But this orange colorway is sick. I've had many orange New Balance made in USA and made in England models. I've sold them all off, and to have this pair, I think, is probably the best one of everything that I've had as far as orange colored New Balances go. These are the 2002R. I have a bunch of 2002Rs in the collection, so there's no need for me to go crazy as far as describing materials, textures, or whatever. But I will say these differ from all of those because of the rigid lines, as well as this aged outsole as well. Very cool. Otherwise, it's standard New Balance stuff. Sizing, I go true to size. Comfort is always on point. Quality, especially for these, is pretty nice for being made in Vietnam. I do love these edges being unfinished. It reminds me a lot of like something like the Gold Air Jordan 1s, like all these unfinished structures and stuff like that. So very hyped on these. Definitely going to be one of those scenarios where I'm wearing like all black and just wearing these and let these shoes do the talking for sure. Love a nice New Balance. Glad to have these. Alrighty, on the topic of New Balance, here is another one. This one, a very fun, special, collaborative box. You could probably piece it together by those 3 logos there. It's a made in England pair, and then it is an M1500 BMS. Reading this backwards, read it correctly. The box details on here go crazy, and if you don't know, now you know. These are the New Balance 1500 in collaboration between, it's a triple collaboration between New Balance, Beams, hopefully pronouncing that right, and Paperboy. So, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest sort of hype apparel streetwear follower. Like, I'm gonna have to do some further research into these, but I do know that Paperboy is a streetwear brand based out in Paris. I know Beams is another streetwear brand based out in Japan, and then obviously New Balance. Everyone knows New Balance pretty much at this point, but this is a really fun, really cool, really sleek sneaker. So wide view out, the shoes right next to each other. You'll notice the slight mismatch. You know, colors are in alternate spots between the left and the right shoe. So these are like a steel-esque, and it's symbolic of the tools that are used in kitchens. I believe it was Paperboy that was once a cafe turned sort of lifestyle brand, but these blues and grays, you know, really honor the stainless steel stuff that you'd find within a kitchen. So very neat. It comes with a plethora of lace options. So we got white over there. We have all these lace options, a light gray, a darker gray, a light blue. The detailing is nice as well. You have these little hang tags showing each respective logo. Love a nice triple collab. Love the embroidery as well. These have PB 1500 on the sides. Typically 1500s have that embroidery of just 1500 or even no embroidery at all. A lot of other cool details include the 3 logos on the insoles. Man, I haven't had a chance to really look at these. Oh, there, the tag as well. Made in England, designed in Tokyo and Paris. Very cool. This actually isn't my first 1500. I have a pair in the collection, but they're stored at my parents' house that I haven't worn, so I'm definitely gonna wear these around. Retail price was pretty husky. It was like $240 or $250. That's not surprising though, because made in England New Balances typically cost a lot in the US and vice versa. Made in USA models are very expensive in Europe, so that's no surprise to me. And then you factor in the triple collab. They're not selling these at the traditional like $220, I don't think. But anyway, these come to me via sneaker Twitter as well. They had mentioned that sizes were popping up from New Balance's website. I gave it a shot, added to cart, and they sold out. And I think I saw the link once more, and since I had these in cart and I have a New Balance account, it was literally 2 clicks to check out, and they showed up. And I gotta say, I don't live anywhere near Massachusetts where these came from, but they arrived within like 2 days. It was like literally as fast as Amazon Prime, so very thankful about that. Very glad to have these. I'm gonna wear these for sure. Very nice staple, hype, but subtle piece to have in the collection, if you know what I mean. A few more here. This one, an untraditional Air Jordan 1, and once you see them, you'll know what I mean. These come in the orange 2-piece box, very similar to Air Jordan 1s. And then the label here is a dead giveaway. It's strictly an AJ1KO, and then they're in a colorway of storm blue, black, and white. So these aren't the recent AJ1KOs that released in that orange color. Rather, they are the storm blue AJ1KOs, which I actually prefer to that orange pair. So these also came via sneaker Twitter. Very dangerous. I should have just dedicated this video to sneaker Twitter, but these come to us via a shock drop link or restock link straight to Nike. So these kicked me over to the Nike sportswear app, so not the sneakers app. And from time to time, Nike will just randomly drop stuff on the Nike app, and this is one of them. AJ1KOs generally don't get the love they deserve. Personally, I'm kind of a fan. This isn't my first pair. I have the Chicago colorway that dropped about a year or so ago. And the one thing I enjoy about these sneakers is one, the look. It looks similar to an Air Jordan 1, so if you're not like really a big sneaker connoisseur, from afar they look like any other Air Jordan 1 or Dunk or, you know, anything with this big swoosh. But I think what it comes down to for me that I enjoy is the materials. So it's an all-over canvas with like slight hits of smooth leather at the ankle collar, but otherwise it's an all-over canvas. And to me, materials are a big thing. As much as I complain about quality and stuff, I think the one thing that I like on a sneaker is wearable materials, and by that I mean a canvas material like this can weather any storm, really. Like, yes, it'll get dirty in dirt, rain, snow, or whatever, but I think the one thing about this canvas is it's pretty resilient, it's pretty thick. It's not like a $50 Converse All-Star that's like paper thin and super pliable. It's more so very thick, very rigid, and I think it's just easy to clean. Also, just the shape of these very much look like the Air Jordan 1s and Dunk Highs. I was kind of on the fence about buying these. This is definitely an impulse buy for sure, just because I have like the Kentucky Dunk Highs, which essentially the blues look very similar and the style in a way looks very similar. But this is a pair that I've wanted for a while. I never was able to hit on them when they released about a year ago or 6 months ago, whatever the time frame was. It was a sneaker that I mentally had on my list to go back and get, and I know resale prices aren't so bad. I could probably get a better deal if I shopped around on like eBay or GOAT or StockX or whatever. But I think just having them at retail from Nike, you know, it ups my credibility with them in a way. Like, I feel like making purchases like this that aren't only sneakers drops help with the algorithm and getting future releases. And this is a sneaker that I'm gonna wear, right? That's the whole point of collecting sneakers. Yes, is one thing, but also wearing them is another. So they come with 2 laces as well. I'm probably gonna stick with this black. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting these on as well. I've been buying some Stone Island pants, and I think these would just go very well with them. So very excited about these. And then last up, this is a grail type sneaker for me. This is the best for last. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. If not, it's cool. But these come in a more specialized 2-piece Air Jordan 1 box. They're not a women's release, more so an alternate model. It wants to focus. There we go. Air Jordan 1 High 85. Colorway of College Navy and Summit White. There's this 908 tag. I bought these off of Instagram from a local shop here in New Jersey called 908 Store. They have 2 locations now. There's one in Montclair, New Jersey, and one in Cranford. I don't live anywhere near them, so I bought them via DM, which is kind of sketchy sometimes. And I Zelled them, which is even sketchier, but I've done it so many times now where, you know, I'm comfortable with them. And I bought from them in the past, and I know they're good people over there, so I'm happy to do it. I wouldn't recommend it to a first-time sneaker buyer, but, you know, it was an educated purchase. So they come with everything. I don't think it comes with, like, the white box paper that, you know, my other pair of 85s came in, but either way, I'm just happy to have the shoes themselves. They came with the extra navy blue laces, but I'm rolling with the grays. And this is a sneaker that released earlier this year. I missed out. I entered sneakers, I entered a ton of raffles and wasn't able to get my hands on them until, you know, they're in my hands today. So these are different from the traditional Air Jordan 1 High OGs in that the cuts are different, like sort of a remastered silhouette. They also use like a thicker leather. All the other colorways, there's like a bread one, I think, but they're pretty hard to come by, or very expensive rather. So this pair is one that I really wanted. One, for the alternate shape, but two, I also really enjoy this navy blue and gray colorway. I had the Georgetown Dunk Lows that recently released, but I realized they weren't for me and I sold them at a crazy markup. It's insane. Like, I'm not a reseller, but when I can make money, I'm not gonna say no. I sold those for like 300 bucks. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think this is probably worth more of that $300. If you paid $300 for those dunks, you should definitely buy these instead. I bought these in pre-owned condition. There's very minimal sole wear, even on the inside. It looks like they've been worn maybe once or twice, which I've been straying away from buying pre-owned, but at the same time, you could find crazy deals when you buy pre-owned. As long as they're not super beat, I don't mind. And these were in pretty immaculate condition, I've got to say. Very minimal creasing as well. This is a grail type sneaker for me. This is one I've been lusting over. I can only tell you how many times I've like talked myself off the ledge of paying full resale on these, like 400 bucks. But yeah, I'm glad I waited and was able to find them at a better deal pre-owned. I think I paid like $280 shipped, which again is kind of a lot, but at the same time for these, they're only gonna go up from here, so I'm not mad at it. I did my usual leather protection, cleaning, sanitization, all that stuff, so these are good to go. I'm very excited about these, and I'm glad to have them in the collection finally. But yeah, that wraps up all of these pickups. They're scattered all over the floor, but let me know what you think of each one if you have an opinion. If not, just drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more videos. Hopefully gonna push more stuff out. Plug the social, plug the eBay, so we're gonna wrap up. I appreciate the viewership as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.